folks, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving headfirst into the wild tale of Chris Paul's biggest beef, a story that unfolds like a blockbuster movie, with ejections, imitations, and a side dish of personal vendettas. So picture this. Chris Paul, the maestro of the court, finds himself on the receiving end of an ejection from none other than his arch-nemesis referee, Scott Foster. But the real show is just beginning. In a game against his old team, CP gets slapped with a foul on none other than the towering Kevin Durant. Instead of taking it in stride, Paul decides to add a dash of theatrics, mimicking a flop and calling out KD for what he believes is a bit of Hollywood-worthy embellishment. But here's where the plot thickens. As Durant steps up to the free throw line, Paul sidles over for a chat with Scott Foster. Initially calm, it turns tense as Foster abruptly intervenes with a firm warning, escalating to a technical foul against Chris. The court atmosphere simmers like a scorching phoenix day as Chris, visibly angered, confronts Foster, exchanging heated words, intensifying the palpable tension. In a surprising turn, a hidden angle emerged in the clash, missed by most. During the Suns' coverage, Chris revealed a referee discussing his son while being held back by an assistant coach.
It's personal. We had a situation some years ago, and it's personal. The league know, everybody know, it's been a meeting and all that, and it's just a situation with my son, and so I'm okay with a ref talking, saying whatever, saying just don't use a tech to get your point across.
This stems from a mysterious 2016 meeting involving league officials, Scott Foster, Chris's dad, and Doc Rivers, aimed at resolving issues but unsuccessful. Now Chris asserts it's personal, adding a significant twist to the situation. Picture this. CP was teetering on the edge of becoming the NBA's resident bad boy. The reputation of being a court jerk was starting to stick, and other players were side-eyeing him like he was the last slice of pizza. Enter Scott Foster, the referee with a front-row seat to the drama. Maybe Foster saw something others missed. A stern word about being a better role model for his son. Who knows? It's all speculation unless someone spills the beans. But wait, there's more. CP drops the bomb. Foster brings up his son. Now, that's a whole new level of personal. It's like throwing a grenade into an already fiery feud. And speaking of feuds, let's rewind to the root of it all, the CP and Scott Foster beef that's juicier than the darkest conspiracy theory. Zoom in on a fateful night in 2009, the first round of the playoffs. CP's Hornets faced off against Carmelo Anthony's Nuggets, and let's just say, it wasn't pretty. Denver handed CP and his squad a 58-point beatdown, marking the worst loss in playoff history. Who was the ref that night? A young Scott Foster. Ouch. Fast forward, and CP's team suffered a 13-game playoff losing streak whenever Foster was in the mix. Sure, it slipped under the radar until CP spilled the tea in 2018, calling out Foster for being at his finest.
I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I got a tech tonight. Yeah, Scott Foster at his finest. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That moment went viral, and suddenly the spotlight was on Foster, like he was the halftime show. But the plot thickens. Other players join the chorus. James Harden takes a swing at Foster during a regular season game in 2019. In 2020, CP, now with the Thunder, gets a pre-game reminder from Foster about losing his first Game 7 against the Spurs. Personal vendetta much? Let's hit you with the numbers. CP's playoff record with Foster is a dismal 317, while without him, it's a more respectable 73-56. Now that's a crazy stat that's got us scratching our heads. But hold on, there's more madness. CP's stats? Almost identical, just one less point scored. So, what gives? Well, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the mental game. CP's beef with Foster is like a pesky mosquito buzzing in his ear. He takes it to the media, makes it a thing, and suddenly it's a distraction for the whole team. Case in point, the Suns facing off against the Bucks in the NBA Finals. Game 6, Milwaukee could seal the deal, but guess who's referring? Yep, Scott Foster. The stage is set, the tension is palpable, and it's not just about the game anymore. It's about the narrative, the feud, the drama. Pre-game, Chris hinted at a betting scenario against Scott Foster, suggesting the Bucks would win. Cameras captured their lengthy chat. As fate had it, the Bucks won, Phoenix lost, and the Foster curse prevailed. Giannis's outstanding performance might have played a part, blending with the hinted betting narrative. But here's the twist. When your team leader is so fixated on who's calling the shots, it gets in your head. Athletes are a superstitious bunch, and Chris Paul might just be the ringleader of the superstition circus. Could it be that he remembered Foster referring to the mother of all blowouts in his career and never wanted to face him again? It's like playing chess with your psyche on the court. Now, let's peel back the layers and dive into the rabbit hole of NBA conspiracies. Enter Matt Barnes, the truth slinger on Twitter. Dear NBA, how many times are you gonna let Scott Foster ref CP3? He's messed Chris over every time. Matt's got a point, folks. If you know there's bad blood between a player and a ref, maybe don't pair them up for a cozy evening of basketball. But alas, the NBA can't do that. Why? Because it would tarnish the holy grail of impartiality. And that's where the plot thickens. Scott Foster isn't just your average ref. He's got history, and not the good kind. Back in the early 2000s, there was a ref named Tim Donaghy. He thought he could make a quick buck by selling game picks to a bookie. FBI steps in and tips off Commissioner David Stern about a mafia gambling ring involving NBA refs. Stern's move? Leak the story to the media before Donaghy could wear a wire and spill the beans about other refs potentially being involved. Sneaky, right? Here's the kicker. Donaghy was on the phone with Scott Foster a whopping 134 times during the time he was betting on games. The only person he called more? His mafia gambling connection. Now, you might argue, don't NBA refs call each other all the time? Not really. The most he called another ref, not Foster, just 13 times. What's cooking here? It's a recipe for conspiracy soup. Fast forward, and Scott Foster has an illustrious career. He's reffed 24 finals games and is a regular in Game 7s. Is he a master of his craft, or does he have the NBA wrapped around his finger? Cue the conspiracy theories. Of course, it's all in good fun, but Chris Paul's situation does make you wonder. And meet Eric Lewis, another ref who got caught using a burner Twitter account to clap back at fans. People believe he got the boot because of it. But what about Scott Foster? Oh, he gets a promotion after a betting scandal. Talk about a plot twist. Will the NBA ever spill the beans on what's really going on behind the scenes? Only time will tell. Until then, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay in the loop.